Well, y'all, Tyler Robinson, Charlie Kirk's assassin, has been charged. I'm going to go over the charges and also the full text message back and forth between him and his roommate have slash boyfriend have also been revealed. So I'm going to go over those too. So let's just get started. Okay, so here are the filings. Victim targeting enhancement. Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because of Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression. Here we have intent, which the left has been constantly trying to twist their minds into believing that the intent wasn't left-wing ideology, left-wing political fear-mongering, but now we have a ruling that it was. So hopefully they can shut their mouths. They won't. They won't, guys. They won't. They're not going to accept responsibility. They're not going to shut up. They're going to keep on acting like we're the violent ones, that the words that we say regarding facts and statistics make us the evil ones, because they literally think that we want people to die. That's not what's happening. That's not what's going through our minds, but that's what they think. But we have a very clear ruling on the motivation here, as if we didn't already know what it was. Violent offense committed in the presence of a child, aggravating factor. The sentencing judge or the board of pardons and parole shall consider as an aggravating factor in their deliberations that the defendant committed a violent criminal offense in the presence of a child. Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, a first-degree felony. Let's see. The defendant, Tyler James Robinson, discharged a firearm in the direction of Charlie. We already know that. Count 3, obstruction of justice. Tyler Robinson, with the intent to hinder, delay, or prevent the investigation, apprehension, prosecution, conviction, or punishment of any person regarding conduct that constitutes a criminal offense, concealed or removed the firearm used to shoot Charlie Kirk, and the conduct that constitutes an offense would be a capital felony or first-degree felony. Count number 4, obstruction of justice. This one is about him removing the clothing that he wore during the shooting. Count 5, tampering with a witness. This is regarding him and his text communication back and forth between him and his boyfriend slash roommate, which we'll get into in a second. Count number 6, tampering with the witness again, for him asking his roommate to withhold testimony and delete the text messages and all the information. Count number 7, violent offense committed in the presence of a child. Another count regarding that. And then the rest of this is just talking about the probable cause statement, which we already know they have identified the motive in the murder. So we have that information now. Here's the text messages between him and his boyfriend. Tyler said, "Drop what you're doing. Look under my keyboard." The roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right?" Tyler responds, "I'm still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer. Yet shouldn't be long until I can come home. But I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I'm sorry to involve you." The boyfriend responds, "You weren't the one who did it, right?" Tyler says, "Yes, I am. Sorry." The boyfriend responds, "I thought they caught the person." Tyler responds, "No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering," talking about a police vehicle. The roommate slash boyfriend responds, "Why?" Tyler says, "Why did I do it?" The roommate says, "Yeah." Tyler said, "I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they had moved on." So he wasn't asking the roommate slash boyfriend to go and retrieve it like we had previously thought. He was explaining what happened and what he needed to do in order to get away. And also regarding the old man that was arrested, who we thought originally was the shooter. He wasn't. He is a guy that was actually going to multiple of these events and heckling people. So he is someone that's probably a leftist that is going and trying to upset people and ask them ridiculous questions and all that kind of stuff. But at this event, after Charlie got charged, he raised his hands and he said that he was the one that did it, and he asked authorities to shoot him over and over and over again. He repeatedly asked them to shoot him, and then they arrested him, brought him out. It was really kind of bizarre because he said like different things at certain points, but eventually they obviously realized that he was not the shooter, but he was obstructing justice because he could have potentially caused a situation that allowed Tyler to get away, where he may have actually been caught on campus that day. So I believe that he's out of jail now. I really don't care about him that much because he's not the shooter, and I don't think that he will be one in the future. But that's just a little bit more information about the crazy old dude. So his boyfriend asked him, "How long have you been planning this?" Tyler said, "A bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there's a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it," which I believe at this point they had. Tyler said, "I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got my car. I'm worried that my old man would do what he would do if I didn't bring back grandpa's rifle." So we now know that this was his grandpa's rifle. And also, by the way, well, we're about to see that, so never mind. I'll just read it. So he's worried about what his dad might say. He says, "I don't even know if it had a serial number." Yeah, he's not very smart, is he? But it wouldn't trace to me. So he's willing to frame his grandfather for the murder of Charlie Kirk. That's what it sounds like to me. "I worry about Prince. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits, didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find Prince. How the fuck will I explain losing it to my old man? Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets?" So the roommate knew that he was engraving bullets. Isn't that kind of a red flag? "The fucking messages were mostly a big meme. If I see notices bulges on Fox News, I might have a stroke. All right, I'm gonna have," which we found that out immediately, pretty much. "Judging from today, I'd say grandpa's gun does just fine. I don't know. Judging from today, I'd say grandpa's gun does just fine. I think that was a $2,000 scope." I don't really know what that means. So here's where he's obstructing justice. He's telling his boyfriend to delete this exchange. "My dad wants photos of the rifle," so his father was obviously aware of what happened. And now, obviously, even though he's saying that grandpa wants to know where everything's at, who has what, it's pretty obvious at this point that his parents have seen the pictures on the news. His dad saw the picture of the rifle on the news and recognized it, and is now trying to get to the bottom and investigate this situation and find out that it is his son or not. So he says grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle and it's very unique. He's calling me right now. I'm not answering. Since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy. I think this is after he actually did talk to his dad, because his dad's friends with the deputy for the sheriff. I think it's his parents' neighbor. So he's going to turn himself in. "You are all I worry about, love. I'm much more worried about you," his boyfriend responds. "Don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent." So that's another obstruction of justice right there. So I don't want to speculate too much about his roommate slash boyfriend, but obviously Tyler was affected by anything that was against trans altogether, and he felt like it was hateful, and he probably believed the rhetoric of the left that that Republicans want trans people exterminated or don't believe they exist, because you know they like to say little phrases like that to normal people don't actually make sense, like when you get to the bottom of it, because nobody's actually saying that. Even the most extreme commentators aren't saying that. Like they're mostly just concerned about children and children being indoctrinated by this and all of the trans violence that's happening, while they blame us for it just because we simply say what biology is, a man and a woman. Like, you know, there's nothing actually in between, and you can't actually transition into the opposite sex, which is what the church shooter learned and then lost his mind and shot children. These people are insane. And it is because the rhetoric of the left. We have a clear motive now. It's because of the fear mongering on the left, making false claims, screaming into their microphones, calling for violence literally. And now these trans organizations are in hiding because they know that they're guilty of this as well. Will they stop? Probably not. Probably not the politicians. They're going to continue with their rhetoric, how speech is violent and we can't take it anymore. And you all need to take to the streets and take up arms and take actions, which they have literally said. Go back a few videos. They're all on camera. It's disgusting. This is highly disturbing. And what? So now none of us are actually safe to be out in public. I mean, I'm not gonna be too fearful. I'm gonna be carrying my gun with me. So try something, bitches. Try something. I live in a pro-gun state. All right. Yeah. I will be carrying that bitch with me. So let me know, is any of this surprising to you guys? Is it surprising? If not, just comment no, it's not surprising. And if you are surprised by any of this, please let us know why. Make sure to comment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It's free, and I'll see you on the next one.